Welcome to Lightning Ministries Daily Devotional. Today's topic, forgiving forever others. We're reading from Matthew chapter 18, verses 15 to 22, where it talks about correcting another believer, restoring a brother or sister. But most people say the most difficult part in our lives or even in our jobs is not the task itself or the challenge involved by getting along with other coworkers or friends or family. You find that surprising? Hopefully not. Getting along with other humans is where things likely fall apart in our lives. So Jesus here drives home a point for God's intentions that not even one of his little children should perish. Or for that matter, the takeaway that he gives to his disciples is conflict management advice. Can you believe that? Jesus is giving them advice on conflict. I think they already probably knew that, but what Jesus' point here is that our transgressions privately to a brother or sister in any form is sin. But few of us, that's you and I, love confrontation, whether it's on the given or on the receiving end of our lives. But I realize that if you and I will find a way to get encouragement to address this kind of situation in a correct and human manner, I'm not saying human specifically, we may be able to save our relationships. One of the things that I talk about mostly to my friends and my family is that we're here for relationships, but we're so busy thinking about what are we in it for or what can we get out of it, we miss the simplicity of just having a loving relationship. But of course, confrontation often goes sideways here in any situation in our lives because we have disagreements, and that's okay. We should. That's how we learn. But Jesus unpacks this possibility. He says, Peter asked how many times he must forgive his brother, even 70 times. 7 times? That's the question. No. That's a smaller number in this situation, represents a larger amount of pain to the disciples. But Jesus doesn't hesitate. He says, yes, even 70 times 70 times. Wow. In Jesus' culture, the symbolic term 70 times doesn't equate to 490 because you and I as human beings put a limit on it. Okay, we can forgive up to 490 times. That's not what he meant. It was more of forgiveness from an infinite standpoint, not holding a grudge or anger towards someone else, regardless of whether they were part of your family or not. But it's equally infinite that, in other words, forgiveness is something Christ's followers should always practice, which I think a lot of times we don't. Find a lot of division, hypocrisy, and in some cases, just pure out hatred, which is wrong because we're not going to always agree with each other. We're not going to always see what others see. And in some cases, the reason we can't see is because our minds are closed or our understanding is not developed enough to be able to comprehend it. But realize, salvation is instantaneous, but the discipleship is a lifelong journey in our lives. You and I will need each other's encouragement. I can assure you of that. And the grace and mercy that God provides for each and every one of us to allow us to learn to forgive the way Jesus taught us to, the way he spoke about forgiveness. 70 times 70 is not just a number that we look to, but it's an infinity. And in this case, excuse my little noises that are going on in the background, it's a point of the fact that we forgive beyond what we see as forgiveness. It's almost like forgetting what was done to us in the past and moving into the present so that we can live our lives according to what Christ wants and not what we think it should be like. Regardless of what God is doing in your life, I challenge you today to seek out forgiveness to someone that may have wronged you, not in a way of retribution or to solidify the fact that you're just trying to find some peace out of it, but realize that things happen in our lives, and while we can't change them, it's an opportunity for us to learn and mature in a way that we become more Christ-like. Hey, thanks for listening and have a blessed day.